Welcome back to In Ohio Country Today. Joining me once again, Ken Holmes, Marketing Manager for Apple Farm Service. Combine Clinics right around the corner. And I'll tell you, man, every time I attend one of these, I'm amazed by the people who are there and the amount of information that you can garner from attending one of these.
Yep, the Combine Clinics are coming back for another year here at two of our locations coming up August 4th and 5th. So sooner than we've had for the last couple years, but it just so happens to be the dates that we're able to get the Case and New Holland specialists to come in and spend some time with us and get all your questions answered.
You know, usually it's a little bit later, so why the earlier date?
Yeah, so the earlier date is to give our when you come in to our combine clinics, normally you have a lot of questions. You get them answered, and maybe you'll find out that your combine might need a little bit, maybe some work done prior to harvest that you didn't know about possibly, and so it gives our technicians a little bit more time to make sure that they get your equipment fixed up with what you've learned from the combine clinics before you get into the season, into harvest. It also just so happened that our Case New Holland reps that are coming in order to have them educate us, those were the dates that were available. They were just booked up later. They have a lot of farm shows later in the year, and it always it mixes up with the farm shows. So we have a little bit earlier this year, so everyone who you'd want to speak with can make it. They kind of break up the clinics into two sessions. One is combine theory, which is just looking at your combines to get your mind thinking, how does the combine work? Yeah. What's going to be the best way for your combine to be the most efficient? Which is interesting to listen between New Holland having the twin rotors and having, the more centrifugal force. Typically, New Holland will get you a cleaner sample. It's going to give you a cleaner grain because there's more centrifugal force with the twin rotors that are spinning faster. Compared to the Axial Flow combine, which does still a phenomenal job, but one main rotor, that the Axial Flow technology, when you wonder if you've never owned a Case IH combine, you probably know what it is. It's one big, large rotor. It's the Axial Flow that allows more crop to come in. So it's easier in that way compared to maybe an old Walker system, and people have really been loving that too. And also just learn the differences between the two and how they both work. Both New Holland and Case have advanced systems now that will automatically adjust the combines, their sieves. It'll automatically adjust the engine speed, the rotor speed, anything you can think of. It's going to automatically adjust it as it's going through. So if you hit a slug, a wet spot, a heavy spot, it'll change automatically. You go to a spot that's lighter, it'll change it so that way you can be more efficient, get through that field without using as much fuel. It's just really interesting to learn all of that. And then they also, of course, go through the things you care about, like wear parts, annual servicing, what to look for, how do you judge what yield loss you have and how do you adjust it. They'll go through the GPS and calibration and anything. And really, they have a presentation, but they want you to ask questions. We don't care if you got the combine from us. We don't mind it if you haven't been here before for service or parts or for anything. We just want to make sure that you're educated. We're all in this together, and if we can teach you some different tips, some tricks, and things to make sure that you can get through that harvest with less problems, and just make sure for the whole ag and farming community that when something does happen, that we're going to be more apt. We're going to be more ready to come out and help you, and we want you to get through as easily as you can this harvest. I mean, everyone knows it doesn't matter how good the combine brings the crop through if you got a corn head that's butt shelling, and you're already losing, a couple bushels an acre because you're butt shelling it. I mean, you can't afford it. Yeah. So that's why we also have these header clinics. You mentioned we're going to have Drago. If you own a Drago corn head, we're going to have those, talking about those. And if you have a gearing off, you could come in and learn about that. We'll have a gearing off corn meeting as well, corn head meeting. So come and get your questions answered about those. Work in the same way. A huge majority of that clinic is going to be talking about servicing your header, making sure you have it set to make sure it's most efficient without any loss. And then you're right, we do have plenty of headers in stock new that we always have in ready for stock. We're probably one of the largest stocking dealers when it comes to some of these corn heads and grain heads. But then also we have plenty of used. If you've ever been to Covington, you see we got barns full of used corn heads, and so we keep them out of the weather. So yeah, coming in, we'll make some deals on those too.
Great prices too, especially when you're talking about financing. These guys can hook you up new, used, whatever it takes, so that you're not leaving any of those profits in the fields. Once again, the date of those clinics.
Yep, that's right. So on Tuesday, August 4th, which is going to be at the Covington store, we're going to have Gearing Off Cornhead Clinic at 9 a.m. And then at 10 a.m., we start a Case H Combine meeting. That'll last till about noon, and then we'll have lunch at noon. At 1 o'clock, we'll have the MacDon Draperhead Clinic. At 2:30, then we'll have the Drago Cornhead meeting. And then at 4 o'clock, we end the day at Covington with the New Holland Combines. And if you come to New Holland, we'll be serving dinner for that as well. And then on Wednesday the 5th, that's going to be at College Corner. So at 10 a.m., we'll start with Case IH Combines. We'll have lunch at noon. At 1 p.m., we'll have MacDon Draperhead Clinic. And then end the day at College Corner at 2:30 with Drago Cornheads. Also, with any of these clinics that you RSVP for, it comes with a lunch, or for example, New Holland, it's later, it's going to have a dinner. But either way, come hungry. Because if you come, we have breakfast served first thing in the morning. We'll have coffee and donuts, and then we'll have lunch served with all the meetings, and then also we'll have that dinner with the New Holland meeting. So come hungry. We want to reward you for thanking you for taking some time and learning with us.
Apple Farm Service is your place for MacDon, Drago, Gearinghoff, New Holland, and Case IH, and so much more to get you prepared for harvest season so you don't leave any of this in the field. For more information, check them out on the web at applefarmservice.com. Ken Holmes has been our guest once again, Apple Farm Services Marketing Manager. Ken, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Always a pleasure.
And we'll be back with more In Ohio Country today, right after this. When your day demands versatility, you need a tractor that can keep up. Case IH Utility and the Vestrum Series tractors are built to handle a wide range of jobs around the farm, from loader work to field tasks and everything in between. Right now at Apple Farm Service, take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months or get low-rate special financing. Stop in today or visit applefarmservice.com/Case IH. Alan Davis Insurance Agency, your solutions provider in Wapakoneta, Lima, and Minster. Alan is a business owner and an active farmer. Trust Alan Davis Insurance Agency for auto, home, life, commercial, and total farm protection. For more information, check us out on the web at alandavisinsurance.com. The SureTrack heavy-duty, low-profile dump trailer is engineered for professionals who demand the highest level of strength, versatility, and efficiency. And Rodock Leasing Sales and Service is your place for your next SureTrack dump trailer. Available in multiple configurations, tailored to fit your specific needs, and built for heavy-duty tasks. This trailer delivers top-tier performance, helping you get the job done right every time. Call Rodock Leasing Sales and Service today, your source for SureTrack dump trailers. Learn more at rodock.com. You don't want to miss the 2026 Dye Real Estate Land Company Land Expo, Tuesday, July 28th at the Howard Johnson in Lima, Ohio. It's designed for landowners, farmers, investors, and industry professionals looking to stay ahead in today's evolving agricultural landscape. This year's event brings together industry experts to cover key topics impacting farmland ownership, investment, and long-term planning. It's the Dye Real Estate 2026 Land Expo. Register today by going to dyerealestate.com. That's dyerealestate.com.
It's the 174th Auglaize County Fair, August 2nd through the 8th in Wapakoneta. Enjoy 7 days of family fun with $10 ride bands, great food, livestock shows, live entertainment, gospel music, grandstand events, and country star Craig Morgan live in concert. From the rodeo and demolition derby to harness racing and tug-a-truck, there's something happening every day at the Auglaize County Fair. See details and get your tickets today at auglaizecountyfair.org.
Welcome back to An Ohio Country Today, and it's time now for another Farming Fast Fact. And with me is Kieran Fetter with the Auglaize County Fair, and he's here to talk about the importance of the fairs in all 88 counties here in the Buckeye State.
Yeah, so this January, I had the opportunity to, for the first time, go to Ohio Fair Managers Association convention down in Columbus. It was a packed house. We were able to collaborate with other county fairs, what's working, what's not working, because it is such an important event for the county. It's one of those only events county-wide that brings all different communities together and all different walks of life together as well. We were able, at that convention, we were able to, again, collaborate across county, as well as talk with different vendors, whether they were providing entertainment, whether they were providing food or providing services. And so a really great opportunity for me as first year manager as well to learn so much about how these fairs should or could potentially operate.
Karen, thanks for joining us. And don't forget how important it is to support all the county fairs, independent fairs, and the Ohio State Fair right here in the Buckeye State. We'll be back with more in Ohio Country Today right after this.
Allen Davis Insurance Agency, your solutions provider in Wapakoneta, Lima, and Minster. Allen is a business owner and an active farmer. Trust Allen Davis Insurance Agency for auto, home, life, commercial, and total farm protection. For more information, check us out on the web at allendavisinsurance.com. Closed captioning provided by Dye Real Estate and Land Company, your area leader in land auctions. Welcome back to In Ohio Country Today. Just a reminder, Farm Science Review is right around the corner, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. We recently caught up with Nick Zachridge to talk about ag extension, education, and this year's Farm Science Review. You know, you're an active farmer, so I think it's important, too, from a family farm standpoint, to stay on top of what's happening out there. How important is that for every farmer here in the Buckeye State to know that we've got that kind of a resource in extension, whether it's Ohio State University or Central State University?
Yeah, there's a lot of great resources, and I think probably a lot of farmers don't utilize extension quite enough with all the information that's out there, with even just looking at fact sheets that we have. The eFields program that Extension is putting together with our Food, Ag, and Biological Engineering Department, that is an excellent resource. It kind of puts the research out there quickly. You know, sometimes in academia, it takes a little bit of time to publish data, and sometimes it just takes too long to get back to the farm, and that's what the eFields publication's there to help kind of bridge the gap a little bit. You know, we're going to get that research data out there eventually that's peer-reviewed, but farmers need to know now on some of these things that we can do some research projects on-farm, you know, large-scale research projects. The 10 by 40 foot plots are great, and it really dials into things, but on-farm really has a place in what we're doing with education and extension. There's just so many resources too. It's not just corn and soybeans, you know, it's all over with horticulture and natural resources, and there's just so many different directions you can go. And at Ohio State, we like to be experts in just about everything, so we have experts on every area of agriculture. And in Ohio, too, especially, we just have such a breadth of different things we're doing. So it's not just corn and soybeans like you see throughout the Corn Belt. Right. It's not just the fruits and vegetables. We combine all those things. We have a little bit of forestry in parts of the state. So there's a lot of things that go on in our state and around the region that we really can help out with.
Yeah, and you do a great job at Farm Science Review, too, as you mentioned, in bringing in these extension agents, helping to educate the general public. But that in-person relationship and that contact is really important, too. You know, farmers have questions all the time, and things do change. They change. Well, from a geopolitical standpoint, they probably change every day. So it's important to stay in contact, and it's important to have those kind of resources. So let's talk about Farm Science Review this year. How's it looking? Getting ready? It's a year-round thing for you, I'm sure.
Yep, it is. And applications are out for exhibitors, and those are rolling in. And we have a pretty good lineup of exhibitors are coming back, and we're really excited about that. Like you're talking about with in-person events, it's not just even the education side and the industry and commercial side. You can come out and talk to the experts in those specific areas, whether it's on machinery or seed or different plant protection products. All those things, you know, even with financial and banking and insurance, all those things you're going to be able to find at Farm Science Review again. And we're bringing in all those companies back, and then also just looking out and seeing what's new. There's other new technology that's out there that needs to be investigated, and seeing how it fits on the farm, and what technology is going to take us to the next level, save us a little bit of time, and maybe save us a little bit of money at the same time.
You know, Farm Science Review has a great website. You guys stay on top of it all the time, so let's talk about that.
Yep, it's fsr.osu.edu. A lot of information there, so if you want to exhibit or you just want to plan your visit, then you can go to the website.
Always nice catching up with you, Nick.
Yep, great to see you, Dan. We're excited to see you again at Farm Science Review.
And if you want more information, check us out on the web at InOhioCountry.com. We'll have a link to their site as well. Nick Zachridge has been our guest from Farm Science Review, and we'll be back with more In Ohio Country Today right after this.
Rodock Leasing Sales and Service is your place for Wilson Livestock Trailers. Wilson builds reliable, lightweight, and corrosion-resistant aluminum livestock trailers. Wilson is known for their attention to animal and operator safety, as well as the best in biosecurity. Wilson delivers your best value and your lowest cost of operation. Rodock is your home for Wilson Livestock Trailers. Call Rodock Leasing Sales and Service today. Learn more at rodock.com.
Welcome back to In Ohio Country Today. Big Dan Wilson alongside Kent Holmes, marketing manager for Apple Farm Service. We're standing in front of the Helio sign, but we're in the Helio building here at your Covington location to emphasize the fact that you're once again going to be featuring Helio drones at this year's Farm Science Review.
That is right. We're going to have Helio there, and then some of the other brands that we carry will be there as well. But yeah, we'll make sure that Brad and Marcus and Matt, the Helio folks, are there to answer all your questions, and more than likely we'll be flying a Helio drone with some different demonstrations and doing that. So great time if you're planning to go to Farm Science Review, or you wanted to come out but stopping at Farm Science Review is closer than coming over to Covington. Meet us halfway.
Yeah, what's really cool is you'll have a variety of Helio drones in your booth, but where they do the field demonstrations is where you'll be demonstrating the Helio drones, and it always gets a lot of attention, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, how can you not look at a drone that's about 8-9 feet wide, taking off and doing some spraying, and it's a lot of fun. And if you've never been out to the Farm Science Review, before you come, look up to see if you can find when the demos are, and plan your day to check it out. Great way to get hands-on information, see how the software works taking off, and see how they build the maps for it. It's just a great time.
And Helio won't be the only thing you'll be featuring out there. Between the Case IH building and the New Holland building, there's another area there that generates a lot of attention as well.
Yeah, there is. A change for Farm Science Review this year is we are combining the New Holland and the Case IH booth together. It's going to be the C&H booth. And we're pretty honored. They reached out and asked Apple Farm Service if we'd like to be the dealership that mans that and oversees it. So, yeah, sure we will. So you'll see red and blue together on the same lot. It is allowed. It's not a sin. If it is, it's venial. You're okay. So come on out. We'll have all the machines put together so you can check them out. And then with that, if you've come to the Farm Science Review before the last couple years, you've noticed that Apple Farm Service has sold merchandise inside the Case booth. But with it being C&H, we'll have them together. So you can get your New Holland or Case IH merchandise under the same roof, all provided by Apple Farm Service. So if you were wanting to come out to one of our stores, especially Covington, with what we have, well, we'll meet you halfway at Farm Science Review. It'll all be there. We just essentially pack up the whole showroom and take it over there in multiple trailer loads. So, yeah, a lot of things going on at Farm Science Review. I would imagine that I'll see you at Farm Science Review, and we'll get some other interviews from there and what's going on. But it's going to be a fun year this year.
Apple Farm Service will be featuring their Case IH, New Holland, their Helio drones, their toys, and so much more at this year's Farm Science Review. Hope to see you there. And we'll be back with more In Ohio Country Today right after this.
From generation to generation, farmers do their best to protect their land, livestock, and farm operations. But they can't do it alone. Salina Insurance Group has partnered with local ag professionals to do just that, offering the peace of mind needed to run a successful operation. Salina's products and coverages come from our first-hand experience and relationships with local agents. For total farm protection, come experience the Salina difference. Learn more at salinainsurance.com.
Ask any teacher. They'll tell you one of the many challenges they face is keeping students engaged. Ask any farmer. They'll tell you an equal challenge they face is getting the next generation involved in agriculture. A group of teachers in Northeast Ohio has found a way to get their students excited about learning and provide a hands-on agricultural experience every day in their classroom. Jason Jury with Crop King and former science department head at Wadsworth High School, Chrissy Lawrence, K-4 STEM CES at Coventry Local, and Jim Trogdon, K-12 science education teacher and hydroponics advisor at Brent Rittman discussed the impacts of having hydroponic systems in their schools.
So this is a desktop unit. So these can house up to 8 plants at once. So you can see the 8 openings there. You would put a piece of rock wool into the channel there. There's nutrient-rich water that's circulating through the channel. Each compartment has 1 seed, so you can start to see some of that starting to grow now. So about every 10 days, we're going to replace the nutrient water, put new nutrients in there, and then within about 6 weeks, we should have harvestable lettuce. And kids are really, really excited about it.
I'm at the elementary. So in our building, we have K through 4, and I have also 6 desktop units that we use in our room. And we also, a couple weeks ago, set up and already have planted using the Flex Farm system from Fork Farms. And what's interesting to hear is we are on a much different level, but it starts at the basics. So we're still talking about even kindergarten, where it's plant needs, and then going into first grade and all of those the standards that go along with that. I can have K through 4 in the building learning all simultaneously through our growth systems, and you pull that factor out of where they think there's still soil in here, and I'm like, no, and we put that all together, they realize there's no soil. So adding the nutrients, having kids be part of that. I think I just showed you Friday, I had our kindergarten class, and there was one student I had with the goggles and gloves mixing nutrients, and he's holding it up and looking at the right measurements, and we're testing. And we're talking, he's 6, or actually turning 6. He was 5 at the time he's doing this, and he's learning that, and they're all planting seeds. So as a STEM aspect, you have all of those things. I can have the math part in there. They're measuring, they're looking at nutrients, and then we're looking at where do our nutrients come from, or what a plant needs. I mean, that's back to the basics too. I mean, it just leads to so many different things, and we can even build our own little system so that they can build their own thing. Like they start with the milk carton and do things that they can kind of create. But it's one of those too, that excitement. I agree. They come in, they want to see what's it look like now, and they can't believe the difference that 1 week even makes. I have students too that now look forward to taking care of systems. We call them our gardeners, and their little gardening club, and they want to check the levels and check temperature and all those things. But now I have a student that had some, let's say, behavior issues, attendance issues. Now he wants to be there, and he shows up because he cares for that. It's that love of that, and it's something that's alive and growing, and it sparks so many different things with that.
The thing with me is that, we have to start thinking about other ways to provide food for people. Yes. And so, when we're in the classroom like this, and we're growing from August through May, there's a blizzard outside, and we've got this beautiful produce in here. And I said, that's not happening outside anywhere. And so, they have to rethink that and think, yeah, we need this controlled environment agriculture, how important that is. I think the population of the planet, or I don't know, we're over 8 billion now. 8 billion people. How are we going to feed people? I tell the students, I said, we're not making more land anywhere. And so, many farmers are, caving in, and, they're selling their property for millions of dollars because farming's hard work. Yes. And so, you have to think about that. And so, these are real world problems, and the students are coming up with solutions for that. And, the one thing every teacher hates is, if a kid sits back and says, why do we have to know this? You never hear that with hydroponics ever, because we all know, well, who in here enjoys eating? And who in here eats every day? Yeah. So it involves all of us. But even like the nutrition aspect of it, I see that with students who I know aren't getting the proper nutrition and the proper food every day, basically because it's not available. And the produce is expensive. And so, we can tell them, how much we can grow this for, and you get a head of lettuce for literally cents with that, and it uses 1/10 the amount of water. and we have to start thinking about that as well. So I look at that with the hydroponics and the kids taking stuff home, and or we give ours to the cafeteria now, and so the kids even make the little salad cups and and ready to go. I mean, they've contributed to that, and also you don't want to waste food that you grew.
Having hydroponic systems in the classroom also gives students a chance to learn about where their food comes from and the overall impact of the agricultural industry. It also introduces fresh, healthy, locally grown foods for students who might be facing food insecurity. All three educators say having these hydroponic systems in their classrooms has truly been an amazing investment that provides endless learning opportunities.
It's problem solving. It's learning how to work in a team. It's working around problems that you didn't necessarily expect to have happen and finding solutions in a way that involves thinking about the problem and then unpacking that and then coming up with something that can be done to fix the issue.
Rittman High School STEM students participated in a harvest at the Heritage Hall Hydroponics Lab, picking more than 30 pounds of lettuce and herbs. The students and their teacher, Bethany Markham, discuss how the harvest will be used and how they feel about the class.
We are kind of taking our systems and we grow different types. We've done lettuce, we've now done herbs, and we give to our cafeteria. We also look to give to our teachers in our district, and then we also donate to the server downtown, which helps our community out a lot.
For In Ohio Country Today in Wadsworth and Rittman, I'm Amanda Mangan.
Your outdoor fun starts here at Dad's Toy Shop. See us today for all of your favorite remote control land, air, and watercraft, and so much more. Dad's Toy Shop in downtown Wapakoneta is your one-stop shop for all of your hobby needs.
Hey, that's going to do it for this week's edition of In Ohio Country Today. For more information about our TV show, our podcast, our YouTube channel, our iHeartMedia Ag Network, check us out on the web at inohiocountry.com. Have a good day, everybody.